Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to another Sport Bike Haven production. It's your boy Jordan, and today I'm out on the Yamaha R7. Now it's been far too long since this bike has seen the open road, so I was very grateful to get out today and just get this bike, flowing, get the oil moving, get the gas pumping, just get things moving. It's good for the bikes to run. It's also good for them to have their regular maintenance, but it's also good for them to run and ride and all that stuff. So been a little too long. Super stoked to get out here and enjoy this beautiful day. So I'm actually here right by the Dike Access in Washougal, Washington. I'm actually at the Pendleton Woolen Mill storefront. I actually used to work here for like 6 years in the weaving department. So I gotta work with the looms and produce all the wool fabrics and stuff for many of our blankets and shirt fabrics and pants and all this kind of stuff. So I just thought I'd stop here to do my intro, get this video rolling. Nice little place to stop, look at the bike, start her up, and get rolling while I chat with y'all for a little bit. Let's start her up. Oh yeah. And I'm actually just coming back from a ride out east, rode out to the North Bonneville area, just out along the highway, which follows the Columbia River down there. And it was a nice ride. A bit windy, but it's right about that perfect temperature where it's not too hot, not too cold. The windy breeze just gives you that nice, cool feeling, where it's not too cold and everything. It just feels very refreshing. So yeah, just a beautiful day for a ride, and I'm really stoked to be out here. Today's topic, I did actually want to talk a little bit about the, kind of the cliche of social media influencing, or something along those lines. And yeah, I guess that's the topic. I'm going to try to give y'all some of my thoughts without sounding like a total squirrel-brained person here. But yeah, I have a tendency to kind of get off track real easy. But yeah, so this whole idea of being a social media influencer, very ironic coming from me, because here I am out on my bike filming a moto vlog and trying to grow my audience on YouTube. So definitely kind of a ironic topic for me, but hopefully I'll bring it around and kind of make it relevant and everything. But yeah, so if I'm not mistaken, I think YouTube kind of became a thing in roughly 2005, and that was actually the same year that I graduated from high school. I didn't watch a whole lot of YouTube back then, but I was actually thinking about it, and I actually remembered that way back in the day, I wanted one of those like X18 or X19 mini pocket bikes. And so I looked them up, and actually the videos that Brian 636 did of his little pocket bike that he did to make it look like, I think he did it to be like a Gixxer or something, maybe. I can't remember exactly, but that's kind of it's interesting, just being reminded about how long that I've been watching YouTube. And I'm not sure how old that video is. That he could have posted that in 2010 or 2012. I don't know, don't quote me on that, but it just kind of reminded me of my how I became familiar with YouTube and stuff. Like, I think that's probably one of the earliest videos that I remember watching, and so I find that really interesting. Back then, I would say like 15 years ago, kind of felt like the Wild West of YouTube, right? I mean, People were making crazy videos. There wasn't a lot of censorship as far as things like advertising went, so pretty much anyone could get advertising money from any advertiser just based on their views and stuff. And there was a lot of people that made a lot of money, and I think that did kind of two things. One being the fact that it kind of opened the door of possibility just to give people like a real look, like, I'm trying to find the right word, but it basically made it viable for people to kind of consider YouTube kind of like a real job. Like, you could actually make real living wage money on social media, which was super cool. And I think the slightly less cool thing that it did was kind of you know, that whole get rich quick thing, you know, where it's like people just saw dollar signs and they were you know, racing as fast as they could just to get any kind of, you know, cheap you know, just cheap stuff up, pretty much whatever they could yeah. Oop. Anyway, yeah, they were just, you know, lots of people. And I think that's still kind of a thing, you know. I think right nowadays we see a lot of that with the AI and the fake voices and stuff. And, you know, I've used a little bit of that for some of my narration and stuff, but I'm not like doing it for my whole channel, where the whole channel is just, you know, AI scripts and AI voices and images and all that stuff. I mean, I actually put some effort into my videos, but so I think that's kind of the two things that whole era kind of really brought to light. The fact that, one, people could make a living, an actual living, from doing stuff like YouTube, and two, it was definitely kind of a bit of a cash grab for people just trying to get videos out there. And you know, I still think it's a little bit funny for me trying to you know, wrap my mind around the idea of becoming some type of, you know, social media personality. I mean, on one end, you know, I'm just trying to share my passion for motorcycles. Like, I really do love riding motorcycles. You know, it's really cool. I've met some really cool people riding. You know, it's kind of a family thing that I've done, riding with my family and my family friends and stuff like that. So, and it's just cool. I mean, I really love sport bikes. I just think they're the coolest. I mean, I would love to go to the track someday and, you know, really develop my skills and kind of have that space where I can let loose a little bit more, you know, because I try to ride pretty chill. I've been in a couple accidents, and, you know, I just try to ride pretty chill these days. You know, I don't, you know, I get a little bit sometimes, but, you know, for the most part, and especially when I'm vlogging, you know, I'm trying to concentrate on the road, but also I'm trying to like think and speak coherent sentences and stuff. So this whole idea for me, just trying to wrap my mind around the idea of you know, creating a you know, I hate to say following, what was I saying, my audience, you know, an audience, and like develop my skills as an entertainer, or at least, you know, say something interesting. It's still very mind-boggling for me. I still lack a little bit of that confidence to really, you know, dig in, but I am trying, and I really am going to try to develop myself. But it's interesting times that we live in, for sure. I mean, I think this is, you know, like this whole idea, like kids nowadays, you know, kids, people, you know, young kids, high school kids and stuff like that, they actually dream of one day becoming a social media influencer. Like, it's like a life goal for people. And you know, I'm not going to say it's not one of my goals. I mean, I think that it would be really cool to pursue my passion of motorcycle riding and make a living out of something that, you know, I enjoy so much. So, you know, I get it, and I'm not dogging on the idea of doing that stuff. I mean, it does seem a little bit cheesy sometimes, because there's like a formula to it, and, you know, it's very hard for me to get myself to, you know, and I don't know if it's just like me not being, you know, quite smart enough to understand what the formula is, or just like I'm such a, you know, out of the box type of person that I just hate the idea of conforming to those standards. But you know, it's you know, it's a bit of a thing where you know, there's like a formula for being on social media where, you know, this is how you grow your channel, this is how you know, get subscribers and sell things and this and that. And you know, like I do like the idea of being able to you know, at least support my writing with, you know, creating the entertainment for people, or whatever it is I'm creating. So I do really like that. So like I said, I'm definitely not trying to dog on the idea of being a social media influencer. I think it's cool. It's just interesting how times change, you know, like back when I was in high school and stuff, you know, people wanted to be movie stars, and you know, especially for my group of friends, it was like musicians. And I'll tell you right now, I am not cut out for the rock star lifestyle. It's just, you know, I'm a much quieter, chiller person than that. Like, I like to play guitar, I like to rock out. I mean, I listen to some heavy music every now and then, but I cannot see myself going to like rock star, movie star parties and like doing all the stuff that they do. And you know, I think that's one of the cool things about, you know, social media stuff, is that, you know, people have gained like you know, notoriety from doing fun stuff too, or not just fun stuff, but like healthy stuff. Like there's a lot of like health and fitness is one of the biggest niches for social media, and that's cool. You know, I think that's really, you know, I'm sure that they had their version of that in like movies and stuff. You know, the movie star diet, get ripped like the movie stars. You know, there was always that stuff, but you know, it's cool. And another cool thing is, you know, and I don't know, you know, really how the money stuff works out, but I think people can make good livings with a much smaller following than you would need for, say, like a movie star. Like, you know, like only the top AAA list actors or whatever, you know, would potentially make hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. And I know the value of the dollar has changed over time, so maybe some movie star making $1 million a year 20 years ago was you know, had a higher value monetarily than someone making $1 million nowadays. But yeah, that's some of my thoughts on this whole idea. I know that the idea in general of becoming a social media influencer, it's a bit cliche, so you know, I guess I'm gonna kind of rock the cliche. You know, I'm just trying to have fun. I think it would be cool to gain an audience and be able to get a little bit ahead, you know, pay for some cool bikes and do that kind of stuff. But you know, I just got to stick to the craft. I just got to work on putting out the best videos I can and having fun. And you know, I think that just being responsible as a whole makes the most sense. So I'm gonna do the best I can. I already got a couple of badass bikes. You know, I got the R7, which is no slouch. This bike is sweet. You know, I've definitely got a lot more enjoyment out of the smaller bikes than I think I would have, you know, 10 or 15 years ago. And you know, I just enjoy it now. I do absolutely love my H2. It is amazing just having that much power on tap. That bike is literally an art piece, and you know, so I do enjoy that. And in general, I consider myself a bit of a collector. Like, I do enjoy the aspect of collecting. Like when I was young, you know, it was like Pogs and Pokemon cards and all the random stuff, but I was really into the collection aspect of it. So, you know, I really would like to have a nice little collection of bikes, but you know, all the big super bikes are awesome, but I definitely wouldn't mind some of the other smaller bikes too. I mean, you know, it's just about the whole sport bike in general, you know, and I really realize my skill level is fairly intermediate, you know, and I would like to develop my skills both in stunt riding and track riding, but you know, I've got a good idea of where I'm at, so you know, I'm not trying to push myself more than I need to, and I'm definitely not trying to push myself over the edge just for some like piece of content, you know. I just want to document my journey and have fun with it. So I guess in conclusion, you know, I don't have anything wrong with the whole idea of social media stuff. I think it's cool. You know, there is a lot of cliche aspects to it, you know, just like, you know, like I think people, I think it's what used to be termed keeping up with the Johnsons, you know. There's a whole race to try to like keep up with the social media life, like having the same nice stuff as other people, but you know, I'm really trying to you know, develop what makes me me, and you know, try to shine in that way. So anyway, that's about all I have to say for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I really appreciate everyone who takes the time to watch even a little bit of my videos. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos, please go ahead and follow. I mean, you've heard it a million times, but it definitely helps out, and I really appreciate it. So I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll catch you in the next video.